at bbc.co.uk/The One Show.
New rules have been announced to protect us from cold callers turning up on our doorsteps trying to persuade us to switch energy providers.
Recently, we reported on a number of streets that have set up no cold calling zones in a bid to deter uninvited doorstep sellers.
You'll be astonished to learn that many sales agents are simply ignoring residents' wishes, as Dom Littlewood's discovered.
This quiet street in Epsom is one of scores across the UK who have had enough of door-to-door salesmen. The residents here campaigned to local trading standards and the police to set up a no cold calling zone, closing the door for good on doorstep sales. So, in this supposed suburban haven free of salespeople, pensioner Mike Mason was extremely surprised when an agent from energy company Scottish Power knocked on his door to try to persuade him to switch both his gas and electricity over to them.
He said, "I'm not cold calling, I'm not selling you anything, I'm just trying to ensure that you get the discounts you're entitled to."
You never ever invited him, never filled in a form asking for anyone to visit, never ever requested this visit at all?
No, he was just walked straight off the street.
Mike was so desperate for the hard sell to end, he gave in, but cancelled the deal soon after.
It was beginning to annoy me because he had been so aggressive, and I thought the easiest way is sign up, get rid of him.
According to recent research, almost 7 million UK households have taken out an energy deal either on their doorstep or through other direct sales. Yet less than a quarter of those people actually believe they got a good deal. Scottish Power says it's committed to responsible sales practices and that knocking on doors is sometimes the only effective way of informing some customers they could be paying less. Trading Standards is concerned about all doorstep selling by energy companies.
They're in your face, basically, and it's very hard for consumers who answer the door to an energy seller to say no.
On the face of it, no cold calling zones are the ideal solution. If residents don't want to be pestered, the salesperson will know not to call in that area. But in practice, it's a different story. You see, these zones are not legally enforceable. Consumer Focus says that agents from the 6 big energy companies routinely ignore no cold calling zones, and half of them even knock on homes displaying signs.
There's no legal power to stop people cold calling, but we would ask people to actually respect the zones. Energy companies don't respect the zones. The energy sellers treat those householders with utter contempt, in our view. Trading Standards would like to have a ban on cold calling energy sales. We've given them the chance to get their house in order, and they haven't done so. So this is the next logical step.
All Scottish Power would confirm about their policy on their agents entering no cold calling zones was that these zones are not always easy to identify. And when agents see a sticker at the house, they shouldn't call.
It is ingrained in my generation anyway. It's rude to slam the door in people's face.
Would you do anything different now?
I wouldn't hesitate now about closing the door.
If you're called on by anybody selling gas or electric, don't sign anything that you don't fully understand. Even if you're slightly unsure, say no and check out the deal yourself before signing up. Now, you will have 7 days in which to cancel the contract if you change your mind and want to stay with your current provider. But remember this, it's your front door. Don't be scared to shut it.
Off you go. We were both so keen there.
New rules. So how will they make any difference?
Well, these only just came in this week, but basically what they're there to do is to protect the consumer better. Ofgem have had complaints. That's the Office of Gas and Electrical Markets. And what it is, some salespeople have been known to sort of make promises and they haven't actually materialised. They told a porcupine, in other words. So what they've done now is they've said what you've got to do is you've got to confirm everything that you promise and put it in writing. Now, for anybody who signs up for any of these agreements, whether it's in the supermarket, at their own house, in the street, whatever, everything the salesperson has promised you will be confirmed in writing. Once you get that letter, you then have a chance to compare it to your original bills, the ones you're paying at the moment. See what they like for like, see which one's actually cheaper. And if you change your mind, from that moment onwards, you've got 7 days in which to cancel the agreement. So really, it's just giving you the right now to get out of it and a little bit, time to think over it.
There's nothing quite like the doorbell going, and you open the door, and there's this dark dread feeling. It's somebody there with a clipboard wanting to sell you some electricity. I feel a bit sorry for them. I mean, nobody's ever pleased to see them. It must be quite hard for them.
Some of them are very persistent. I mean, is there a turn of phrase that you can use just to sort of tell them to leave as quickly as possible?
Yeah, no,
more technical. I was trying to be pleasant, but anyway.
Don't come in just now. I've got a terrible stinking cold, whatever it might be, whatever. But basically, I mean, you know, the fact is they're not just knocking on your doors, they're actually targeting some people in supermarkets as well now. The fact is, because you can cancel, if you do actually invite them in and you don't want them there, do you know what, and you find them hard to get rid of, which a lot of people do, sign the agreement, because by law you've got that cooling off period, and then just cancel it the next day. They've wasted their time.
Right, thank you. You can start off now, Dom.
Thanks very
On
much.
you go.
Earlier this week, Dr. Sarah Jarvis